everybody.
Hello, I'm Ryan.
I'm Bethany.
And we are Ryan and Bethany Board Game Reviews.
And today we'll be talking about Doomlings. This is designed by Justin Meyer and Andrew Meyer. And we just want to remind you guys to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out.
Okay, you guys, the end of the world is upon us. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Yeah, it's inevitable.
But here we are as the Doomlings. We're prepared for it. We know that we are a species doomed for inevitable destruction, so we might as well just enjoy the ride. Get as many points along the way as we can.
For deadly destruction. What are some more like D things you could say? Doomed
I'm not even sure. Death of the Dark, I don't even know.
Death of the
Doomlings. The Doomlings are little species that we are kind of creating, cultivating through this game. All right, there's two kinds of cards in this game. There's more than that, but there's two main kinds of cards in this game. There are the trait cards, which are how we're going to get our points and our special abilities, and there's the age cards. All right, so what's going to happen at the beginning of the game, we're going to build a little deck, a little age deck. That's our timer for the game. Every turn, we're going to flip one of those over. It's going to give us some kind of event or some kind of rules for that particular round. And then eventually, it's going to time down to the end of the game. You also have catastrophic events that are throughout that as well. Once the third catastrophic event comes up, that's the end of the game. That's when we're going to tally our points and see whose Doomlings are the most successful. All right, but then we also have our hand of cards. Our hand of cards are made up of these trait cards. We have a gene pool, which basically is our opportunity to figure out how many cards we're able to have in our hand every turn. And that gene pool strength can go up or down based off the cards that we play and the events that happen. So, our hand size starts out at 5, but it might go up or down as the game goes on. All right, so we're going to be playing out these cards every round, and these are these trait cards. They're going to have victory points on them as well as some special abilities. Now, the better abilities are also going to have the least amount of points, and the smaller, less point cards are going to have really great abilities. So you have to kind of balance out what you want to play and when you want to play it. A very interactive kind of a game. It's the kind of game where you're going to be messing with each other's hands, messing with each other's cards that you've played, things like that. But there are these dominant traits that you cannot mess with those. Those are there to stay. So you can only play up to 2 of those per game, though, so watch out. Make sure you play the best ones at the most opportune time to get the maximum amount of benefit for those dominant trait cards. All right, so again, once that third catastrophe comes up, that triggers into the game. You're going to do all of your scoring based off of whatever event just came up during that third and final catastrophe card. And the cards that are in your pile as well. Add all those up. Whoever has the most points wins the game.
All right, so a lot of these cards interact with a lot of cards and do a lot of stuff. You're definitely messing with each other's stuff. You're definitely messing with your own traits. You're doing a lot of that. Because of that, the 2-player was totally fine. It was a fine game. But I actually liked it at a higher player count because you're seeing more of the cards. There's more of that interaction happening. And especially if you're digging for something or you're wanting certain cards to come out, when you play it with a higher player count, you're going to have more of a chance of those cards coming out. So 2-player, totally fine. I would just recommend playing at the higher player count.
Most of the age cards are positive events, things that are going to do some kind of small benefit or some kind of small rule change. It's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
But there's catastrophes. When those come up, they're usually something bad that's going on, and so it's a negative event that's going to affect you negatively. But then, if you have the way you kind of build your deck, there's going to be one kind of at the beginning of the game, one in the middle-ish of the game, and one towards the end of the game. And again, if that third one is revealed, that one is going to trigger the very end of the game. There's going to be a scoring parameter on all the catastrophe cards, but you ignore them on the first 2 that show up. And only the third one, whatever that one is, because there's a lot of them, is going to be the one that actually is the one that counts towards the scoring at the end of the game. So I like how every time you play, you're going to see different catastrophes, and each one has its own end game, end of the world scoring opportunity as well, or scoring penalty as well. But you might have see different ones every time you play.
Ryan mentioned that there's what he was just talking about, those 15 cards that are the game timer, essentially. I thought it was a perfect length. It was long enough for you to try to get something working, but it wasn't one of those things where this game overstayed its welcome. And games that are very take that-ish like this, and there's just that interaction going on, you don't want them to last for very long, because then it just gets frustrating and the fun gets sucked out of it. But that's not what happened with this, because it had that limit, because it wasn't like somebody was always at the point of being able to go somewhere, but then somebody knocked them down. That just didn't happen, because the game was going to end no later than 15 rounds. And so I really liked how that happened, how I knew that the end was coming, and I could try to prepare for that, even though I can't really prepare for it. But I just like that in a quirky, silly game like this, it wasn't trying to overstay the gameplay.
I think the card art was very cute, very fun. These kind of circular little Doomlings guys that all have just, I don't know, funny little traits and smiles. I love that graphic design and that art of these guys. They make me laugh. It matches the gameplay as well. It's very much matched up with the kind of silliness of the game with the silliness of the art. I will say that a game like this, I would expect to have a pretty quick setup. And it has an okay setup. But the trait cards, you just shuffle those, that's all fine. But the age deck, it does take a little bit of setup. You do have to kind of shuffle up all of the age cards, shuffle up all the catastrophe cards, deal out some of the age cards into piles, deal out some of the catastrophe cards into those piles, shuffle up this pile, shuffle this pile, shuffle this pile, stack them all on top of each other, add the starting card on top of all of that, and then you can start. So just beware, there's a little bit of a startup kind of a hiccup to the flow of the game. But once you're in it, you're going. It's really smooth. But just for a simple card game like this, I would have expected a little bit easier setup.
Yeah. But overall, I thought this was fun. It was cute. It was simple. Everything was like you understood what was happening with the cards, how they are interacting with each other. This kind of reminds me of when I very first started getting into the games. So a lot of gamers know Munchkin was like this huge thing and people were obsessed with it. But it was like, what was it that somebody said once? It's a 10-minute game that took 2 hours to play.
Yeah, the funniest way I heard that worded was, it is a half an hour fun packed into 2 hours.
Yes. Right? Because like people almost get to whatever that was. You had to get like 10, a level 10 or something. And there was just so many ways to knock it from happening. And it was very frustrating playing that game. And I felt like this game kind of solved that. It was like we liked what this was kind of doing, of building up and just trying to get the most points. And let's make sure that it ends. And so I thought they did a great job with that. I really liked, as I mentioned earlier, that you had this fun, simple, silly game. And it ended. It wasn't like it was just trying to keep on making the same joke. They told the joke the 3 times you're supposed to, and then they ended. That was Doomlings.
The rule of comedy.
Yes.
The rule of 3.
Yes.
I liked playing this with our kids. I liked playing this with adults when they've had, a glass of liquid courage or two, It's not the kind of longer-term strategy game that I'm going to bring to game night,
Yeah.
But at the same time, playing this with my extended family, things like that, this is definitely going to be the kind of game that goes along really well in those situations. It's silly, it's fun. And if you ever want to get more out of it, if you like that core system, but you want a little more, there's actually a lot of expansions too that can kind of add to the variety, add to the things that you're seeing and playing as you're going along as well. So I thought Doomlings filled a niche in our collection that I liked it a lot.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so you can see our videos as they come out. Until then, you can find us in all of these places.
You guys, thanks for watching, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
You guys, thanks so much for watching. This game was provided to us by a publisher in exchange for a fair and honest review.
And if you want to see more stuff, check out over here to see something we think you might like.
And over here, we think that YouTube has picked out a great video for you you're going to love. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.